All right. So, guys, thank you very much for joining us. I'm very excited you all are here. It must mean that you're excited about finding a product to sell on Amazon, and we'll definitely help you with that. We've kind of mastered how to locate these products to sell on Amazon, and we're more than happy to share that with you. So, thank you very much. Again, what type of housekeeping stuff do we have before we get started?
Yeah, like I mentioned, if anybody missed it, there is a YouTube link at the top. So feel free to check that out if you're seeing a slower resolution or pixelated. Please drop in your questions in the chat box. I will be monitoring, and then we'll be able to ask Greg and go through them during and then after. We'll make sure all your questions are answered. And so I imagine it might be 60 to 75 minutes of pure value bombs.
All right. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and show you the slides here. All right. So by the end of this, guys, I feel confident that you will feel comfortable choosing a product to sell on Amazon, okay? So if you're not familiar with it, Jungle Scout is an Amazon product research tool. We've kind of perfected the art of choosing successful products to sell on Amazon, and we're going to share that with you. So if any of you have kind of been following along with us for a while, we did a similar webinar. It was just about a year ago. Is that right, Ken?
Exactly.
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah, it was about a year ago where we chose a product to sell on Amazon. We publicly did this. We shared everything from the product we chose, how we did the product research, the factory, and you can search this on Amazon right now, and it's available. They're called Jungle Sticks. And it's also on our free resources page if you want to go back and look at kind of the entire webinar, or excuse me, the entire collaborative product launch series. But just to show you how this has gone and how much it's paid off searching for this product a year ago and launching it, these are our newest stats from Seller Central. You can see this was taken 10/19. So in the past 30 days, we've done a little over $29,000 in sales for over 1,300 units. And since December 1st, which is about the time that we launched this of last year, we've done over $160,000 in sales. About a quarter of that is profit. So that puts us at about $40,000 in profit. And it hasn't been a full year yet. So we're looking at maybe $45,000, maybe $50,000 in profit for this one product for 1 year. And this just kind of shows you like how profitable selling these items on Amazon can be. And I guess like the other cool thing is when I launched this, I was a little bit worried about like doing this publicly, like all of the, the copycat products are going to come out there. And I was like showing how well this one product's going to do. So there's going to be a ton of them. But what I found is like, we're still doing well, still like general best practices of marketing, like optimizing your listing and all that stuff still pay off. It definitely is much more competitive now. But if you search like marshmallow sticks, we're usually in the top like 2 or 3 spots. And yeah, I mean, it's doing well. So and the key to all of that is the product research. It's selecting the niche that has good demand, that isn't too competitive, getting into that niche while it's still young, starting to build up the listing, build up your reviews, your product sales history and everything. And then you're that listing, just like Jungle Sticks is now, that is very difficult to beat out or to outrank in the future because you were kind of like the early one in there. So what we want to kind of talk about today is like finding these young niches that aren't very competitive yet, that don't have many reviews, the ones that also, have good margins and have sufficient demand, and then getting in them now so that you can be, one of these top ranked spots for years to come. So, I mean, it's pretty awesome to think that don't get me wrong, it's definitely some work getting started. It takes some time to do the product research. It takes some time dealing with the factory, getting started, the pictures, the listing. But after that, this isn't much work once it gets going, okay? I have to place a new order every like 6 to 8 weeks to restock it. And other than that, the only work that we have to do is like replying to some customer emails. We probably get about like 4 or 5 a week. And just kind of like monitoring our sales and our listings. So it's definitely without a doubt some work to get started. I probably had to put in 40, maybe more hours worth of work to get this product launched. But after that, it's only like a few hours a month, which is pretty cool.
I think what's actually most exciting is we've started to see the growth trajectory increase. And based on Google Trends and search volume, it seems like a lot of the searches will peak right about now or November, and have been since end of the summer. So that growth might increase even faster if we can even stay in stock.
Yeah, for sure. That has been kind of one of our challenges, just staying in stock with the product. But yeah, that's for a different webinar.
Yeah.
So a lot of people say like, okay, what has changed since last year? You probably just launched this at the perfect time, Greg, where now it's more saturated, or now there's more sellers in the market, or now there's factories from China selling directly on Amazon. And there was also a TOS change a couple weeks ago, for those of you who didn't hear about it, where no longer can you offer a discount in exchange for a review. All right. So with all this being said, the last one's definitely true. You can no longer offer discounts in exchange for reviews. However, there's still plenty of totally white hat ways to get reviews. Like the overseas competition is not that good so far, it seems like, at selling on Amazon. Okay. So it seems like most of the listings, I can kind of tell which ones are like the Chinese like factories, or wherever else the other factories are. It seems like so far their marketing is not very good, so it seems still very easy to compete with them. And you're right, there are more sellers on Amazon today than there were a year ago. That's without a doubt. However, there's still hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of niches on Amazon, right? So we're just it only takes like one or two, right? You only need one good one to sell in. So that's what we're going to show you today, how to find that one that's not saturated, that is a good opportunity, that's new and young. And so you can start selling in that one and then have this mature listing similar to what Jungle Sticks is now. So what are kind of like the good opportunities now, right? Now, especially now that we can't, especially now that we can't do giveaways in exchange for reviews, we're going to look for something that's less competitive than what we're looking for before. All right. So we want something with not many other sellers in it, with not very mature listings and niches. We want something with good existing demand. So we'll show you exactly how. We want listings or niches that are already selling well. This means that people are already shopping on Amazon for these products, and they're typing them in the search bar. They have their credit card saved in Amazon, and they want to buy these, okay? So that's what we're going to show you. And yeah, just a couple of little points. With the TOS change, no longer can we easily get these product reviews at the very beginning. However, I can kind of talk at the end, my new launch strategy. I actually just launched a brand new product. It was about 10 days ago, so it was after the TOS changes, and it's working well. I already have I think 7 or 8 reviews. And the product's selling well. It kind of actually retrained my brain to see okay, the product reviews probably aren't as important as what I once thought. They used to be easy to get, so we went ahead and just got them. So strategies here to find the products or find the niches, okay? And we can kind of go over these real quick, like big picture outline, and then I'll actually do a screen share and I'll actually do demos for you, and I'll show them to you in real time. We can find a product together in real time, just as I would if I was sitting in your seat, okay? So one way to do it is, and probably the easiest way, or one of the easiest ways, is we can look in the Jungle Scout product database for products that have high revenue with low reviews, all right? And this will make, if you're a little bit confused right now, this will make a little bit more sense once I'm doing a screen share. However, what Jungle Scout has done in our product database is we've rebuilt Amazon's catalog in a way that's user-friendly for sellers to search through it. So you can't go on Amazon.com and say, and there's no search filter for saying, hey, show me all the products that sell really well that aren't competitive, all right? Those filters just don't exist on Amazon. So we've rebuilt our catalog and added all these filters that a seller would want to search for when looking for a product. So this is one way to do it. Another good way outside of Jungle Scout is some of these other websites or crowdfunding sites or suppliers. We've listed out quite a few here. Some of these are free, some of these are paid. We don't have any affiliation with any of them. However, we just wanted to list some kind of some other sources here. So some of my favorite would be, if we back up real quick, what we're kind of looking for here is just like up and coming trends and ideas and like kind of like new hot areas, right? So some of my favorite are on these crowdfunding sites like Kickstarter and Indiegogo. On there, there's usually lots of like new products that it's kind of like the new and hot upcoming stuff. Amazon launch pads, also a good idea. And again, these are all free just for browsing, of course. You can look at these the catalogs of overseas suppliers like Alibaba, like Global Sources, or if you go to like the Canton Fair, some of the trade shows. Canton Fair is going on right now, but it's a trade show for all the factories in China to go to advertise the type of products that they manufacture and sell. So again, these would be kind of like ways to see some like the newer and hot upcoming type stuff, especially at like Global Sources trade shows and be like a little more high tech. So that'd be a really good spot. Some of these other websites, I think most of these are paid, but these are kind of like trend analysis type sites. These aren't directly related to Amazon like Jungle Scout would be. However, still good ways to still good places to just kind of go and browse. And then of course, like social platforms, see what that hip 17-year-old niece or nephew of yours is sharing. And it's, a good spot to find like kind of new and upcoming ideas. Another way to utilize the Jungle Scout product database is put in these specific filters with a higher price point that would have like a higher net, and it may not have as many sales, but you're making more money from one sale. So again, this is just kind of like get your brain thinking about different ways you could sort or search through the Jungle Scout product database, which shows you these products that could be a good opportunity. And like I said, we'll do a screen share in just a second, and I'll show you some of these. Another way is to find products that are selling really well, yet have a poor quality listing. So again, in the Jungle Scout product database, you can sort by the listing quality. So a poor quality listing would be one that like doesn't have many pictures, that has like a really short title without many keywords in it, maybe doesn't have many bullet points or not a very good description. These are all things that make a listing like either poor or a good quality listing, and we've graded them, and I'll kind of show you a little bit more about that. So this is, again, another type of criteria, or probably like my most popular, my most used criteria, okay? So like I look for other products that are selling at least like 300 units a month. Now I'm looking for something that's even less competitive than I used to be, since now it's not quite as easy to get reviews early on. So I'd say something like with under 40 reviews. It's nice if it's kind of like an obscure or weird product, because it's usually not as competitive and easier to get into. And then my favorite price point, especially if you're starting out, is around like 19 or 20 bucks minimum up to, let's say, like 50 or 60. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and just dive right into the Jungle Scout web app, and I'm going to do a demonstration for you. Okay. So, and you can see my screen okay, right, Ken?
Yeah. Is
Fantastic.
it possible that you could zoom in a little more?
Yeah, I could probably do that right there. It might help some people. So right now I'm inside of the Jungle Scout web app. So just real quick, I know this is, we always get this question, so I just want to demonstrate this real quick. But Jungle Scout is two products. One is the Chrome extension right here. Okay, there's a one-time fee. This one runs inside of the Amazon store. So when I demonstrate this, I'll say this is the Chrome extension, okay? The web app, this is like a piece of software that runs in the cloud and runs on Jungle Scout's website, not on Amazon. So when I talk about the Jungle Scout web app, this is the one I'm referring to, and it's a monthly fee, okay? So right here, I'm inside of the Jungle Scout web app. The Jungle Scout web app consists of 3 different features: the product tracker, the product database, and the niche hunter. So if you're kind of confused, that would be what I'm talking about, okay? But inside of the web app, we have this product database, and this is what I was talking about when I said we've rebuilt Amazon's catalog in a way that's user-friendly for sellers to search through, all right? So like I said, you can't go to Amazon.com and say, hey, show me all the good selling products that have low competition, all right? That's just not possible there. So what we can do here is enter those types of filters. So to start, I'm just going to pick a few categories, and my favorite, there's no like one category that I think's like much better than the rest. Otherwise, I'd just tell it to you. However, my favorite categories are the ones that there's quite a few products that are relatively simple. So for instance, like appliances, I don't really like this category very much because there are a lot of very complicated products that break a lot, that need better quality control when manufacturing and so forth. So I don't really like that. Like arts, craft, and sewing is good. Automotive is pretty good. Baby. And then I'm just going to choose just a few other ones here. Let's say like kitchen and dining, home improvement, office, patio, pet supplies. Those are all good. Maybe we'll add home and kitchen. All right. So I've selected a few categories here. If you're really passionate about one particular category, you could search just in it. Or if you have an area of expertise in one, those would all be good type categories to select. For the price, let's say a minimum of $20. And let's go ahead and enter a few more filters here. So the first search that I'm going to do is...
Greg, is it possible to zoom in anymore? Sorry.
Yeah, is that a little better?
I think that would help with the blurriness. Yeah, I think that would help. Thank you.
Okay. And then if this is kind of blurry, guys, you can try the YouTube link. That's at the top of the chat. A lot of times it'll be delayed like 30 seconds or a minute, but that gives YouTube time to buffer it, and they can show it to you a little bit more clearly. So at a minimum price of $20, let's say I want something that's selling at least 300 units per month, okay? Like I said, I want something that's not very competitive. So I want to find products that have under 40 reviews, yet are still selling 300 units a month. This means that this product is, or this particular listing is not very mature. It's relatively young, yet it's still doing well, okay? So that'd be like a good indicator of the type of niche that I want to get into, all right? And for this particular one, let's just also say that only standard size, no oversized products. That means it's relatively small, which makes it easier to ship and get here from our factory. And let's go ahead and just look to see what kind of results we get from these particular filters. All right, so if you looked before, there was like, I don't know, 20 or 30 million products. With these particular filters and these listings, we now have down at 500 results to look at. And keep in mind, there's lots of different filter criteria you can choose. So it's not like this is the only 500 potential good products on Amazon. There's tens of thousands. I'm just going to show you different ways to find the different ones. All right. So yeah, now what I'm looking for. So I already know all of the products listed here are potential good products. Okay. They don't have very many reviews. Like this one has 40 reviews, yet it's selling, let's see, estimated monthly sales, this category, it's selling 368 units per month, roughly, for about $7,000 revenue a month, all right? And so we already know that all the ones listed here are potential good products. So now we want to narrow them down to find like the really good products, okay? So now what am I looking for? Now I'm looking for products that are relatively simple, okay? So like this water filter right here, this is not a very simple product. For this particular product, I'm sure you have to have like FDA and different types of certifications to get, to sell this product on Amazon. There's definitely like some quality control things you need to think about because you want to make sure that the factory is manufacturing them, like high quality standards, and make sure that these water filters are actually working. So this is like not the type of product that I want. This right here, these acrylic sign holders, this would be the type of product I want, okay? It's just a piece of plastic. If they manufactured it a little bit out of tolerance, it probably wouldn't really matter, right? If this thing's like a 1/4 of an inch wider than it's supposed to be, it doesn't really matter, right? A piece of paper would still probably go in there. So that's the type of product I want to explore further. And then we're just going to look for a few more, okay? So glass spice bottles, sure, we can take a look at that one. My one word with that is we would have to be careful about how we ship it because glass does break easily. However, we'll look into it a little bit further anyway. And And I'm just looking for like a few product ideas here, and then I will investigate those products further. So something like this little minion guy, inflatable minion, I think it says Happy Halloween on his little chest there. So a product like this is definitely going to be a seasonal product, so Halloween's in a couple weeks, and I'm sure the reason that it's selling really well right now is because Halloween's coming up, right? So and like I said, you would probably make a whole bunch of money at the end of September and the beginning of October selling these. However, this isn't like a long-term type product that's going to do well all year long. So I usually try to stay away from products like that. Let's see, a jewelry organizer rack. Sure, we could look at those a little bit more. And that's probably, maybe we'll see if we can find one more. So again, these are Halloween decorations, right? So that's something I'm probably going to stay away from. Daffodil mixture, interesting. Maybe the skeleton key bottle openers. Sure, we'll look at those. So as you can tell, these are very like obscure and weird niches, right? If I was just trying to sit in my office and brainstorm ideas of what to sell on Amazon, I wouldn't in a million years think about a skeleton key bottle opener, a jewelry organizer rack, spice bottle shakers. Unless one of these was like sitting in a desk in my office, all right? These are very obscure, weird type products that without some help are usually very difficult for sellers to think of. So I'm going to go back and then, so these are all potential good products now, right? They made it through the first set of criteria. So we already know they're selling well. We know they don't have many reviews, so it's probably not that competitive, or it's a relatively young niche. We decided just by looking at them that they're probably fairly simple and fairly easy to get manufactured. So now we know this one product meets all this criteria. However, now we want to look at the niche or the industry in a whole and see if there's good demand kind of like throughout the niche, all right? So I'm going to search for what I think would be like the most relevant keyword. So here I'm going to say skeleton key bottle opener, all right? So I'm going to search the whole Amazon store for this particular product, all right? And now this looks good. This looks all like the same type of product that I had found before, right? So now what I'm going to do, this is a real-time result. As you can see now I'm on Amazon.com. I'm no longer in the Jungle Scout database. I'm going to run the Jungle Scout extension, all right? So remember before we were in the Jungle Scout web app, that's the software that runs in the cloud product. This is right here is the Jungle Scout extension. So this runs on Amazon.com. After you install it, you have this little JS icon in your toolbar. And when you click it, it shows you all this information. So I'll zoom in on this again because I know this is kind of hard for some people to see. But this is the information that it's giving us: the name, the brand, the price, category rank. One of the most important columns is this one, estimated sales. Okay, so this one right here, this is approximately how many units per month these skeleton key bottle openers are selling. This is the number of reviews they have. And then this last column is my other favorite column. This is how much money is left over after Amazon takes their fees. Okay, so this product sells for $23.99. However, after Amazon takes a commission, as well as they take money to pick, pack, and ship this from their warehouse, so they charge the seller $8 every time you sell one, and then you're left with $15.99. All right, so just real quick, because I realized I didn't talk about this at the beginning, but if you're not very familiar with the Amazon FBA model yet, the model that we'll be talking about for this particular webinar is the FBA, so Fulfillment by Amazon model. And we're also talking about manufacturing a product usually overseas and putting our own brand or private label on the product, okay? So why I love this particular sales model is because, A, with Fulfillment by Amazon, you don't have to pick, pack, and ship any of your own products. All you do is you order them, you find a factory on Alibaba or Global Sources or anywhere else, you get these manufactured, you put your brand name on them. So maybe I'd call these Greg's Wedding Favors. You ship them, you can ship them directly to Amazon's warehouses. Amazon stores the products for you. And then when someone orders them, if I were to check out for this product right now, since I can tell they're using FBA, Amazon would package this product up when I ordered it, ship it to me. You know, I would pay Amazon, and then every 2 weeks, Amazon just pays out what they owe to the seller. So that's the whole beauty of this particular sales model, is it's pretty hands-off. You don't have to sit out in your garage or in your warehouse picking and packing and shipping these products every time when you make these sales. Amazon takes care of all that grunt work for you, which is beautiful. So kind of back on track here with finding a product. So now how do I know if this niche is good as a whole, right? So the three main things I'm looking for is the sales price, all right? Like I said, I like a little bit higher priced items, like minimum $19 or $20 is my favorite. As you can see, because like this product for $24, this is $16 of net after Amazon's fees, which is pretty nice. There's plenty of money in there to purchase these products from China and make a profit. Whereas an item like this one for $5.99, right? There's only $2.43 left over. So if I were to source this product for even say like $1.50, there would still be less than $1 for every unit that I sold in profit. And if you're only making like 75 cents a sale, it just takes a lot of sales to add up to be to make good money. Whereas if I were to source this product for say like $5, okay, well with $10.99, I don't have to make that many sales to make good money. Even if I'm only selling like 5 a day, that's still like $50 a day in profit, which is pretty nice for one single product. All right. So I do have some rules of thumb, because I know people will say like, okay, well, how many sales is enough sales? How many reviews means it's too competitive? All right. As far as reviews go, I like to see like 2 or 3 or even 4 sellers in the top 10 with under, let's say like 40 or 50 reviews. All right. So if I look in the top 10 spots here, this is my reviews column. There's like 1, 2, 3. There's 4 sellers with under 40 reviews, 5 sellers with under 50 reviews. And right away, that signifies to me that this is a relatively young niche. It's not like mature. It hasn't been around a while. Otherwise, I would see a lot of much higher review count. And because of that, it's much easier for me as a brand new seller to compete in here, okay? So this is not very competitive. The other thing we want to look for is enough demand. So this top guy is selling about 250. The next one's selling 600, 400, 40, 50, 50, 100, 160. I like to see about like 2,000 units or more being sold throughout the niche. So if I were to add these together, that'd be like 1,000 plus 250, that's 1,250. If I were to add all these up, I might get to 2,000. So there's strong demand here, and it's definitely strong enough that you could get into it and sell quite a few. However, like I have seen better, okay? So
and Greg, just to clarify, that is estimated sales per month, right? That's
correct. So these figures here, this guy's selling about 250 units per month, not per day. So he's selling like about like 9 units a day. All right. So, and when I look at these different like niches, I want to find the ones that have like the greatest separation of sales and reviews. Okay. So this one, let's just say there's like 2,000 units of demand every month in this particular niche. That means that there's already Amazon shoppers going on Amazon.com and ordering about 2,000 of these every month. We're not trying to like create new demand. We don't have to like guess if people are already shopping for this on Amazon. We can tell right away, and we know right away that there are these people shopping on Amazon for these products, and there's existing demand here. We also know this is not very competitive. I could launch this particular product, and probably within a few weeks, I could be ranking up here, you know, in one of these spots, number 5, number 6, 4, somewhere around here, and I could be selling similar to what some of these are. if I were to create a really good listing with really good pictures, what you probably find is I would start to like take away some of the sales from some of these units. And maybe I'd be selling 2, 3, maybe 400 units a month, which would be good. All right, so moving on. So we looked at the skeleton key holders. Let's move on and look at a makeup organizer, or looks like this does a few things. Let's call this a jewelry hanger. So I'm searching the entire Amazon store for jewelry hanger. All right. These don't exactly look like what I was just looking at, but we could try a jewelry hanger makeup rack, maybe. Yeah, that looks like what I just looked at, but they're not all the same, but I guess that's fine. It doesn't have to be like the exact same product. We're looking for a particular niche. So in this particular one, it looks like the estimated sales aren't very high, but I'm guessing that's because I did a little bit like too long tail of a keyword, okay? So instead, let's just go back and just look at jewelry hanger again. So this is jewelry hanger, and let's run the Jungle Scout extension on this page. All right. So for this particular product, or this particular product niche, this one is a lot more competitive than our skeleton bottle openers. All right. So there is a good amount of sales here. If I were to add all these up, there's probably a little bit more demand than the skeleton key holders. However, look how many reviews there are in this particular niche, right? So like I said, I like to see niches where there's like 3 or 4 listings with like under like 40 or 50 reviews, whereas here, there's only one listing that meets that criteria, and all of the rest have hundreds. This one has over 1,000 reviews. So this is the type of niche that is competitive, and this is hard for a brand new seller and brand new listing to get into. So good demand, but too competitive for my blood. So I'm going to go ahead and just X this one out. We'll look at this one. So glass spice bottles. So I'm just going to search the entire Amazon store for what I think is the most relevant keyword. And cool. These all look like glass spice bottles. Oh, these are cool with a little cork in the top. So let's see what the Jungle Scout extension tells us about this particular page. All right. So this one has very good demand, right? So whereas the jewelry rack had maybe about 2,000 units of demand a month, the skeleton key holders had about 2,000 units of demand a month. This one has 1,200 plus, that's about 1,000. That's plus about 2,000. So this one has probably, if I were to add all these up, there's probably about like 4,000 or 5,000 units of spice bottles sold every month on Amazon. And just to reiterate here, the beauty of this about seeing how much existing demand there is it removes a lot of the risk with launching a new product. So we already know that there are a lot of people searching and buying glass spice bottles every month. We don't have to like guess whether a product's going to sell well, or we don't have to guess if there's existing demand, because we already know that there's that many units already being sold every month. So the price points here, there's some that are over the $19 or $20. Like this one in particular is up to $35. It looks like that's a bigger pack. Maybe that's like 2 dozen spice jars. Let's look at this one. This one, yeah, this one's cool. This is only, it looks like about 12, but looks like it comes with nifty little labels, which is neat. Maybe this one comes with a rack also. So there's plenty of opportunity to get in at the higher than like $19 or $20 price point. There's a ton of sales, but this one's a little bit more competitive. Okay, so if we look at the top 10, there are 1, 2, 3. There's 3 listings in the top 10 that have that under like 40 or 50 reviews. Okay, so some of these you can tell have been around for a long time. This is obviously a very mature, neat listing. This one's very mature. It has over 1,000. However, there are some of these brand new listings or some of these littler guys getting in here, okay? Like this one's 13, 35, 11, 30. So this is a pretty good niche in my opinion. Like it has lots of units of demand. However, I'd say the competition's like low to low medium. And we'll go ahead and look at one more. Are there any recurring questions in the chat box again while I pull this one up that would be good to answer right now?
Yeah, sorry. So if we could actually go back to the glass spice case, there was some talk about weight there, and you discussed small and lightweight before. Can you comment on that, and if that might change your decision for it to be a good product?
Yeah, sure. So the reason that you have to be kind of mindful of the size and the weight is because of the shipping fees. Usually, I mean, Amazon charges you higher shipping fees, and getting them from China, if you're shipping air, it's going to be significantly more expensive. So that's just something you have to take into account. When I look at the weight, it doesn't really look like it's that high. So what I did is I went into the options of the Jungle Scout extension. I clicked the weight tab, column, and now I'm being shown the weight right here. So the weight's like 3 pounds, 1.5 pounds, 3. This one's heavy at 7. That one would have to probably be shipped to ocean freight, but this one's like only 0.5 pound, 2 pounds, 3 pounds. So this is a little bit heavier. It is something that you need to remember and be mindful of, and remember to calculate that into your return on investment or your profit margins. However, it looks like with a lot of these, there's plenty of margin left over. So, and just to be clear, in the net column here, this is after Amazon would take their cut. So when you look at this number, you don't have to worry about the weight or the size as far as Amazon fees go, because that's already removed from this column. But you do have to be mindful of that when you're thinking about shipping it from the factory. All right, and we're just gonna look at this one last one, just because I want to make sure you guys like understand how to like analyze an entire niche, okay? And then after we look at this one, we'll go back in the web app and I'll show you some of those other filters that we were talking about during the presentation at the beginning of the webinar. All right, so let's see. So we search for acrylic sign holder, and if we just go back and look at those, remember these are little sign holders. You just put a piece of paper in to whatever, say sale or whatever people use these for. I don't know, put them on your desk, put them on the reception desk when you walk in a doctor's office, something along those lines. And these are at pretty good price points. I'm saying 15, 30, 20, 24, 15. So I like the price points here. There's plenty of types that you could get into for $20 or more or $15 or more. There are a ton of sales in this particular niche, 3,000 plus 1,000. That would be another 1,000. So now we're at like 5,000. That's another 1,500. So if I were to add all these up, there's probably like 8,000, maybe 10,000 units being sold every month of this particular product, which is a lot. And then if I look at the competition or the number of reviews, this one's actually not very competitive at all. So if we go with under the 30 or 40 review count, I would see that there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 out of the top 10 have under 40 reviews. If we do under 50, then it'd be 7. So this is a very like immature niche. These sign holders probably haven't been popular on Amazon for very long, or people haven't been buying them off Amazon very long, because this is very like non-competitive. It's clear that to me that this is very like new, young niche, which would be pretty easy to get into. So I could confidently say that I could launch a product in this particular niche, and like within a few weeks, I'd be ranking up here with these guys, probably making the 300 or 400 sales, maybe 600 or 800 sales. I don't know for sure. But I could do that pretty easily, relatively quickly. So out of all the ones we look at, I'd say this one would be like the best opportunity. And this is like the type of niche that you want to strive for. So I have like my minimum rule of thumbs there. Remember that there's at least like say 2,000 units of demand every month. And my minimum rule of thumb is say like, let's say 3 products in the top 10 with under 40 reviews. However, if we look at the big picture, we want to find the ones with like the biggest gap. So the most demand, the most units currently being sold every month on Amazon with the least amount of competition. And out of the 4 we looked at during this, like this would be the one. However, I mean, there's hundreds or thousands of product or particular niches that are probably better than this one. So yeah, I'm going to go back to the web app, and I know we're kind of getting closer to the end of this, so I'll kind of try to speed it up a little bit. I wanted to make sure that the part that I just talked about for the last 20 minutes or so, that's very important when you're doing product research. The last thing I want to happen to you guys is for you to get into something that's like way too competitive with not very much demand, because that means it's going to be very difficult for you to be selling products. For instance, if you got into that niche doing those jewelry holders or jewelry racks or whatever they're called, that would be very hard to sell those because it's very competitive. There's some demand, but there's not a ton of demand compared to how much competition there is. So that's something you want to stay out of, all right? So now I'm back in the Jungle Scout web app. Remember, I'm back in the product database. And I'm just going to show you like a few other cool filters that you can use that do really well for finding good opportunities, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and let's see. I'm going to keep my price at $20. Let's say estimated sales. I can actually probably even be a little bit more aggressive on this. So let's say only show me products that do 500 a month or more. I'll go ahead and just select all the categories, and we can just wean them out later. I'm going to remove the number of reviews here because for this particular one, it's not quite as important. But I want to find products that are selling really well, even though they have a really bad listing. So let's say a maximum listing quality score of 30. So the listing quality score is 1 through 100. We grade all listings on Amazon 1 through 100, depending on how good their listing is and how good that the listing likely converts based off some good information we have. And I just want to find these, okay? And the idea here, this is quite a few. There's like almost 8,000. So too many for us to look through for this webinar, but there's plenty here. The idea here is these would be good opportunities for us to sell and easily compete with some of these, all right? So let's just look through here real quick. I just want to try to find like an easy example. So this is like a tarp. This is something that'd be really easy to get manufactured. And let's look at this particular tarp's listing, all right? So let me see if I can find an example. I'll just look at my marshmallow sticks. I'm going to show you like a good listing compared to a bad listing. So these are our jungle sticks. Oh, nice. We're in the #1 spot for marshmallow sticks. #1 organic spot. So, I mean, of course, I think my own listing's good, but this is like overall like an example of like a relatively high quality listing that's going to convert well. So it has like a pretty long title with lots of good keywords. It has lots of good images that you can zoom in on. See, I can hover over this to zoom. It has this little image here to show you kind of like how big these products really are. There's this cute little kid here with a satisfaction guarantee badge. This is a overall good listing. It has good bullet points. It has a description down here that's good with lots of high quality information. So that this is a good listing. I know that our listing converts well, and it does well. This is an example of a bad listing. All right. So there's only one image here, right? You can zoom in on it, but it's even kind of a crappy listing. A crappy picture. The title is not very long, so he could have made this a lot longer with a lot more keywords. You're allowed to put, I forget exactly how many characters, but you're allowed to put a whole bunch of characters. For instance, look how many characters we have in our bullet points. And the reason this is important is A, because it converts the customer better, and B, because there's lots of keywords in here that makes you rank better in the search terms. So he doesn't have very many words or keywords in there. If I scroll down, his product description, that's not a very good product description. It's like 3 sentences long compared to this one. Like, look at ours. It's nice. It's bold. It's long. It really emphasizes the main selling points. So this is the type of product or listing that's really easy to compete with. I could come in here, make a really good listing, and take away a whole bunch of this guy's sales. All right. So that's a good example of this particular one. So you could look through here and find a product that, you know, maybe rubber duckies. Maybe you could order those again from a factory. You could come in there. You can make a really good listing. You know, like this one only has 2 pictures that they're not really that good at pictures. Well, I mean, they're okay, but you could do a lot more. So again, this is really easy to compete with. It doesn't even look like he has a description. Oh, he does. He has 2 sentences. All right. So this is very easy to compete with. So it's another good way to find these types of products that are easy for you to compete with. So rubber duckies might be a good one. So again, there's thousands and thousands of products in here that have really bad listings yet are still selling really well. Like for instance, how many units a month are those rubber duckies selling? Those rubber duckies are selling 500 units every month, or estimated 500 units a month. And we looked at his listing. It's bad, right? So you could do the same thing and either take away a whole bunch of those sales from him, maybe sell more than 500. I'm not sure, but this would be a potential good market to get into. So I'm just going to show like one other type filter. For this filter, I want to look for products that there's a potential for me to make an upgrade to the product, not just the listing, but the product. And therefore take a whole bunch of sales. All right. So I'm going to go back to minimum 300 units a month. For this particular one, I want the rating. So that's the star rating. That'd be like 3.5 out of 5 stars to be, yeah, we'll say under 3.5. Okay. And what we're going to be shown here are these are products over $20. They sell at least 300 a month, yet they get bad reviews. Okay. So I don't know about you guys, but I always order products on Amazon that have like good reviews. I know most people do too. Like if a product has like 3-star review or 2-star review, that's terrible on Amazon, right? Like I would never order that. Yet for some reason, there's still 300 of this particular product being sold every month. So this means that people really want this product, even though it's getting bad reviews. So I'm just going to look through here to see something, try to find something that'd be easy for me to make upgrades to. Let's see here. I'm just kind of looking at the pictures here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look at the bad reviews and see what people don't like about it. So just kind of looking through here for something that piques my eye. Again, I'm staying away from Halloween decorations. There's a lot of Halloween decorations right now, but I'm staying away from them because I know it's just hot because Halloween's in a few weeks. Let's see here. What is some of this stuff? Let's look at this thing. This is a cover for a fire pit on your patio. So I'm gonna open this in Amazon. Its average is 3.5-star reviews, 3.5-star reviews. But remember, it's still selling well. What do we say it was selling? It sells over 700 units a month, which is a lot. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna scroll down and I'm gonna look at the reviews. I'm going to look at the bad reviews and see if this is something that I could talk to a factory about improving. All right. So just skim through this. Drawstring slip loose. Okay. So maybe you'd ask the factory to put like, I don't know what they're called, but the little things like where you pull yeah, I don't know what the heck these things are called, but that you pull the drawstrings through that kind of keep them tight. So you could talk to the factory about putting one of those on there. That'd be good. And it looks like it's also not very water had soaked through the cover after 2 hours of rain. Okay. And I imagine both of these are pretty similar. I mean, it looks like overall, this is just like a poor quality item, right? So what I could do is I could contact a factory that makes these. I could give them these particular dimensions, or maybe they already have them on file. This is the thing I was talking about. I don't know what these are called, but you could talk to them about putting on like a higher quality little drawstring thing so that it stays tighter. And then also talking to them about using like a higher denier fabric that is more waterproof and overall just higher quality. Okay. And what I found is, you know, this product, like we said, is selling like 700 units a month or more every month. It gets bad reviews. That's 3.5-star reviews. and it's priced at $23. What I found from my personal experience, and I like doing this method quite a bit, I do this with a lot of my products now, is if you get one of these that is higher quality, that gets a lot of like 4 and 5 star reviews, let's say your average ratings like 4.5 stars, people are more than happy to spend more money on those products. Like you could probably sell it for $30 or $35 if it's the same size as this, yet high quality and getting good reviews. So, you know, using like heavier duty fabric is probably going to cost you like an extra like $1 from the factory. However, if you can jack up the price $10, in my brain, it's kind of like a no-brainer to do something like that, right? So that would be a good opportunity. So again, you can just go through these. You can find products that a remote control flying shark. You can find products that get bad reviews and are still selling well. And that means that people really want this product. They just probably can't find a high quality item, right? And just real quick, what's so cool about this is big companies and big factories and stuff used to spend like tens of thousands of dollars doing like market research to find out like what people did and didn't like about their products. And now we can like just a normal Joe Schmo guy like me can go on Amazon, and within like 5 minutes, I can read a whole bunch of bad reviews and know what all the shortcomings are. And then I can communicate those to the factory that I find about making those improvements. So this would be something that'd be pretty easy to do. There's all types of different filters you can do inside the product database, right? So I could find like a poor quality product that's selling well. I could find a product that's selling well even though it has a bad listing. These are all different types of opportunities for you to improve upon the listing or the product, or just find a low competition niche and get into selling on Amazon relatively easily. And the beauty of what I'm showing you here is it removes so much of the risk of getting started and starting a business selling physical products on Amazon, because instead of making like gut-based decisions on what we think might be selling well, we can make data-driven decisions about, you know, what we know it's already selling well on Amazon. It removes so much of the risk, which I think is awesome.
Sure. One filter that I do like to use myself is the number of sellers filter, and just to look for what private label people are doing, meaning that there's only one seller of a given product. So I think that's kind of cool just to see what other private labelers have used. And then, of course, you can layer on those other criteria that you use to signify success, like more than 300 units per month or something.
Yeah, that's a good point, Ken. And you're exactly right. There's so many different filters here that, of course, you can use them, you know, however you want. So you're kind of thinking about different products and what some of the other people are. So I know we're starting to run out of time here again. I was just going to go over the niche hunter and the product checker real quick. What do you think?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Are there some questions we should get to first? I can't see the chat box.
No,
So
there are definitely some questions, but I think this is super helpful, and I know people are learning a lot. So yeah, I would love to learn more.
Okay, cool. So again, this is all inside of the web app, right? So I was just looking at the product database, which we've rebuilt Amazon's catalog and all of their products, and we show you how well the or all the key information about the particular products. With the niche hunter, we've done something similar. However, we're analyzing entire like niches or keywords instead. All right. So I have all the categories selected. Let's just say I want products are doing like 316 a month or better. I just made that up. We want something with a low competition score. So let's say under 6. The price, we're going to do a minimum of $20. And I'm going to go ahead and just search for this. And these would be all the keywords that we found, or which directly relates to the niches and how good of an opportunity they are. And we make this super easy because you're just looking for the one. I mean, if you just want to look at them at a glance, you can just look at the ones that have the most amount of green monkey faces. So if we look at some of these, you know, what do we have here? Again, red wine, dumbbells, snorkeling mask. Let's just look at snorkeling mask. So this particular type of product, it looks like the top 5 people have like each, actually a lot of sales, and not that many reviews. This first guy has a whole bunch at 700, but then I'm seeing 300, 31, 40. And if you look at these, it looks like these are like these like full face snorkel masks. So it looks like those are super hot right now, which the niche hunter is telling me. Let's see what else. And again, these are all types of keywords that people type into Amazon. So some of these are going to be like really clear and relevant on what they are. Other ones are like a little bit weirder or potentially not niches, but you just have to look through them now and say like, okay, what are the best ones to get into? Let's see, BioLight Lantern. Not sure what this is. Oh, okay, this is like a little, I don't know, lantern. Maybe it's solar powered or something. So that would be a potential niche to go into. And these are all just like potential good ideas. And just because I'm excited about this and I'm thinking about it right now, let me even go on to show you like one more way you can come up with these products. So it just reminded me, because if I know the other day I was just looking at like solar lights. So let's say if I look at solar lights or anything else, I can go into a particular listing. Okay. So of course I could run Jungle Scout on this listing and it would tell me information about it, as well as the other products that are similar to this. Okay. So, wow. Yeah. It looks like there's tons and tons of demand here, thousands and thousands of units being sold, but it's also fairly competitive. But the other thing I can do, I can go in and I can look at this particular seller's storefront. All right. So I just clicked on the seller and I'm going to click on his storefront, Oak Living storefront. And now I can run Jungle Scout on this page to see what this particular seller's best-selling products are. All right. Wow, this guy does really good. Hopefully this guy's not on the webinar like, hey, man, why are you calling me out? So, yeah, this guy's killing it. But what I can do now is I went into this seller's storefront. I can sort by the price that's, let's say, do the most revenue or the most sales. And then I can look here to get more ideas. So this particular guy, that's the one we looked at, but he sells $75,000 worth of these little steaks each month. He also sells $40,000 worth of oil diffusers, more oil diffusers. But the other thing I can look at here, like look at this thing. He has a 6 set of essential oils. He's selling 1,500 units a month, and he only has 7 reviews. So this is probably a brand new listing, something that he just launched. Or like, let's look at this one. This one only has 48 reviews. So again, it's probably pretty young, yet it's selling over 800 a month. Looks like LED strings. So again, just another way to get really good ideas. You can spy on other sellers to see what's working well for them, and you can kind of mimic that. So sorry, I got a little off track there. I definitely want to give you that tip. We're now back in the Jungle Scout web app. If I look at the product tracker here, what this is what I like to do before I actually place an order from the factory. Okay, so let's just take one of this guy's listings. So I'm going to take this potential product. I'm going to paste it into the product tracker here. All right. And what this is going to do is after a few days, it's going to tell me exactly how many units he was selling on a daily basis. Okay. So this is my own product, but it doesn't have to be your own product. You can look at anyone's products. I'm just going to use this as an example. And I have been tracking my own product for, forever. But what you can do is you can look exactly how many units my jungle stick sold each day. So I'll just zoom into the past 2 weeks. So yesterday I sold 72. The day before I sold 72. The day before 46, 36, 33, 47, 61, 38. And what you can do is just before I send a bunch of money away to the factory, I like to double check that the product actually is a good product and I am confident about it. So what I'll do is I'll add it into this product tracker. I'll watch kind of like how it sells for a few weeks before I actually send the money to the factory. So if you come up with a good idea, like what was our good idea? Let's say these sign holders. If I take these, I start tracking them. So once I decide it's a good idea, I usually add it to my tracker. And And then before, like over the course of the next week or two, I'll be communicating with the factory. And during that time is when I can double check to make sure it actually is a good opportunity. So we are tracking like over 1 million products like ourselves. So this is one of them. So this one already had product data. But what we can see is see this one sold, wow, a lot. This one sells like 100 units a day, or almost 100 units a day, which is really good. So this is one that I'd feel very comfortable ordering. It gets tons of sales. It's, not that competitive. And there's thousands of other products just like it, which is cool. Again, I know I was going really quickly there. It's already been an hour. What are the most important things that I forgot, or what are the most common questions that we're getting?
Sure. Yeah. So as you noted, when we first started, we have a very large international crowd, a lot of people in Europe. So people are wondering how they can apply what you're talking about to the European market. And
Great question.
also when the web app will be available, or if there are plans for market expansion into other Amazon marketplaces.
Great question. So currently, the web app is only compatible with the US store. So let me say two things. A, you can sell in the US from anywhere in the world. Like, for example, I'm actually in Tokyo right now at this moment, and I'm still selling a whole bunch of products in the US market. I don't actually have to be there for anything, okay? So like I order a product from the factory ships it to a freight forwarder. The freight forwarder sends it into Amazon, and Amazon sends it. So I have actually, to be completely honest with you, I've never actually held or seen our jungle sticks. Like the product we sell, it's been almost a year now, and I've never actually like held it or touched it or done anything with it. So you don't have to be in the US to sell in the US store, okay? Anyone can sell in the US store to start. If you want to sell in like the UK store or Germany store or Japan store, wherever else, the Jungle Scout product database and product tracker and niche hunter, these are only for a US store. However, you can still get ideas for this. So this looks like a first aid kit. If I go to Amazon UK, so .co.uk, I look at the first aid kits. Let's see. What I'm getting at here is this can still spark ideas to look at in your respective marketplaces. So personally, I'm not a very creative guy. I probably wouldn't have thought to sell like a first aid kit. I wouldn't have thought to sell skeleton key bottle openers for sure, because I didn't even know those existed. Those can spark ideas, and you can search for them in your respective storefronts. So I'm not quite sure how to translate first aid kit into German. Otherwise, I'd show this example in the Germany store too. But what I will say is the Jungle Scout extension works in the UK store. It works in the German store. It works in the US store. And within like a week, it will also work in Mexico, India, and France. Okay. So it will cover those like 6 or 7 stores very shortly. And as of today, it works in the UK, Germany, and the US. All right. So you can come up with an idea. Maybe it's the rubber duckies. You can search for it on Amazon.de, the German store, and there you can get an idea of how many units that's that one's selling on a monthly basis.
So we were talking about international. You were saying that Jungle Scout does now support UK as far as the extension, working on the other international marketplaces. But really, if you can sell in Amazon US like you're doing from Japan and Asia where you've been traveling, you think that's the best route to go?
I think the best route is selling in the US store, even if you don't live there. I currently think it's still the best opportunity just because there's so much more demand in the US store. However, I'd say the next best opportunities are UK and Germany. So even if you don't live in one of those 3 countries, those would be my favorite 3 countries for you to sell in.
All right, fantastic. So we did have another question. This was Fernando, and Fernando was asking a couple times. So when you're starting a new product, suppose they're already selling on Amazon, do you suggest opening a new account for the different product categories or private label, or keep everything under one store?
Yeah, that's a good question. And definitely just keep everything under one store. So as we saw by looking at that other sellers a minute ago, most sellers sell all kinds of weird stuff. It doesn't have to be like one coherent brand, like with similar products. So it's no problem to sell all those different types of products in the one store. And that's what I'd recommend. And as another caveat, it is against Amazon TOS to have more than one seller's central account unless you ask for permission. So keep that in mind.
All right. So people are actually curious that you mentioned that you just launched a new product recently since the change in the terms of service. You already have 7 product reviews. What's your new strategy? What do you recommend for people that have gone through this product research phase now? Now what?
Yeah, so when I first got my product, I put it up on JumpSend, which for those of you who don't know, JumpSend is a product of ours. It used to be called Review Kick. We've relaunched it as a new brand, JumpSend, and it's also a new product. With JumpSend, there is a deal site. So with the deal site, you can offer your product at a discount. We have a whole bunch of active shoppers on there that purchase these products at a discount. So I was able to sell, I think I did like 15 or 20 products at a discount. I did it like 60 or 70% off. And that was for me to get some initial reviews, for me to get some initial sales on Amazon, okay? So the goal there was just to get sales. With those sales, Amazon starts ranking you better. As you rank better, then you get organic sales. With those, I turned on PPC, and I was getting PPC sales as well. So with additional sales from offering the promotions and coupons with the PPC, I was able to start getting sales like pretty much right away. With any type of sales, just organically, naturally comes reviews. You can also increase the number of reviews you get from all these organic sales by using an email follow-up series. So of course, I'm using our own product, JumpSend, for this. However, you could do this manually or use someone else or whatever you want. But what you do is all your natural buyers, so all the natural sales you make, you send them a series of emails providing an exceptional customer experience and then politely asking for a review. And then from there, you'll find that you get quite a few more reviews. So keep in mind, these are natural buyers, so this isn't like an incentivized review. You're just asking everyone who purchases your product to leave a review, and that is within Amazon's terms of service, and that it works well. So from those just initial sales I got, I was able to just start organically getting reviews.
Fantastic. Now, what about, there were some questions, people were wondering if it's too competitive. A lot of people are getting ideas, maybe getting the same ideas on the same webinar. Can you kind of explain about the webinar catalog that you mentioned? People were wondering how much of Amazon's catalog is actually contained in the web app, and is there still opportunity as a new seller?
Yeah, so we, I'd say probably like 99% of products that sell one a month or more are inside of the catalog that we built. So there's about 200 million products on Amazon. However, most of those, so like 180 million, sell less than one a month, okay? So these are like books, like odd textbooks that sell one a year and like all these other like kind of just like really strange products. So these are items that would not be a good opportunity. So we don't bloat our catalog by including those in there, okay? So we have pretty much all of the products that sell well on Amazon. And as you can just tell, like when we did the search, like I'm showing you how to find these non-competitive areas. These are the areas you want to go for. And there's thousands and thousands and thousands, way more people than who will ever take action and actually like move forward with this particular opportunity. There's way more opportunities than there are people out there, you know, acting on it.
Excellent. Now, can you describe your strategy and your mindset going forward for the somebody who's looking to enter Amazon and start selling? Do you look for products to build a brand around, or do you look for just product opportunities that are standalone?
Yeah, good question. I just look for standalone product opportunities. I know a lot of people or some of the kind of like influential people in the space. So I talk about this. We'll talk about building a particular brand around like a coherent brand of like similar items. So maybe I'm selling the yoga mat and the yoga block and the yoga towel. I've never found that actually increases the amount of sales I make. So I don't really care about that. I'll sell this thing and that thing and that thing, even though they're not related, because that's how people shop on Amazon. They just type into the search bar what they want. They just look which items are there and they just click one and buy it. They're not looking like for your particular brand that no one's ever heard of. It's just like a private label brand, right? So, yeah, that's what I do and I recommend. But you could do either of those and be very successful.
Sure. So we are now almost an hour and 20 into this webinar.